Shalom, shalom. Good morning. Good morning. Got a lot on my mind as we prepare for this Shabbat. I'm going to go ahead and speak on this. You can see what the title is. It's Facebook spellcasting. I'm going to speak on them anyway because I feel like they censor and discriminate and really that's what it is, discriminate on what people post. Nah, you put naked women and breast and butt bouncing and all that, they're gonna make sure that push. Anything that's questionable before the eyes, they're gonna put that and circulate that. But they don't like circulating anything that's causing people to critically think. So I say whatever I want about Facebook. So Facebook spellcasting. Yesterday I was looking at my feed, and I had seen a police situation where a man in Indiana had already had his handcuffs. He was handcuffed and his hands were behind him with those handcuffs. And the police officer was tugging his belt, saying, "Stop coming towards me." But he was tugging his belt. And he's doing this with a body cam on, tugging his belt. And then when the man would lunge, kind of move forward because his hands were behind his back, he couldn't really do nothing. The police officer would push us by the chest and say, "Get back." So he kept tugging this man, then pushing him back, trying to make an appearance of being some kind of threat, under some kind of threat or something like that. It was just evil, man. Just evil as hell. And then he decides to take the man and slam him on the curb. And then another police officer comes and kicks him. That comes down with an axe kick, with a heel, boom, to this dude's face, man. And that really bothered me because it's like, I seen a dude, they degraded him as a man. They degraded him as a man. And I just remember the look on his face, he kind of looked like a little boy. They just really degraded that brother like that. And to see somebody with locked hair like me, similar skin tone and all that, it really shook me up. I also seen earlier, I think, or maybe last week, earlier in the week, a paraplegic man being dragged out his vehicle by his locks, just dragged out into the street and then drugged to a police car. So that's that. I was looking at that stuff and I began to get very angry inside. I wanted to respond. I was talking to my brother, or one of my brothers, and he was saying, he said, "Be careful." He said, "They spellcasting." He said, "The media is spellcasting. The algorithms are spellcasting." Because when these Facebook algorithms constantly try to put certain things in front of your eyes, the same thing, that's very deceiving. See, I remember when Facebook didn't used to be like that. I remember when Facebook used to have, it would have people, people's stuff, and it didn't come, it would come down in chronological order on a feed. It wasn't being manipulated by some algorithms. This is back. YouTube used to be the same way. All these social media platforms, people built their platforms back in the day when it was actually fair, because people had freedom of speech and people could actually express themselves and put out what they wanted without being censored or discriminated against for the algorithms. So that being said, with my Facebook, what I've done over the years is go and interact with different things or watch certain things. That way, Facebook is constantly showing me something different. I never like to stay on the same thing because it screws your mind. And there was a period when, matter of fact, when the algorithm really kicked in and started doing that thing where they're showing you the same thing over and over again, I did get caught up in that for a little bit. But when I picked up on it, that's when I started using my Facebook differently and making sure I wasn't being shown the same stuff, okay? But reason I told you about the situation with the black men and the police who are, those men who were being done wrong by law enforcement, because I also turned around on my feed after I saw the one with the guy getting axe kicked in the face while on the ground and handcuffed. I turned around, seen a video with some police in Houston serving a warrant. And I tell you what, from what I seen, that looked like that looked like the least aggressive warrant serve ever. The least aggressive warrant serve ever. Like, they did not seem like they were violent men. They just seemed very relaxed, and unfortunately, that's what led to one of them's demise, man. Because they're sitting there trying to do their job and retrieve somebody, and they're relaxed like that, they're cool. Man, that guy that they were serving a warrant to from within opened up with an automatic weapon. Just started spraying them down. One of the police flew back, hit the ground real hard. The dude's still shooting at him. See stuff flying up from the ground. And then they in a firefight with this guy from the inside, and he just shooting all kinds of weapons at him till it was over. So when I saw those things kind of back to back, I realized, like, okay, Father, this world is evil. It's a lot of evil in this world. But we also are using social media apps that will trap a person into thinking it's just one person suffering over here. These people suffering. Whereas there's other people over there in a flip-flop situation suffering too. I guess essentially what I'm saying about this is, do not let the internet drag you into a certain mindset concerning people. Always keep your eyes open, your ears open, and your mind open so you can hear the Holy Spirit, okay? Because they are intentionally using technology to make people, to get it aroused out of people, to cause people to be with this political agenda or that political agenda, while the entire time the infrastructure of this country is being pulled from underneath it like a mat, okay? So these are my thoughts this morning. I'm gonna tag some of y'all. When somebody told me that when my live went out, they clicked my live link, and Facebook told them the connection was broken and they couldn't enter. I hate Facebook. I'll tag some people in this. See what happens. Do it like that. But, all right, people. Shalom, shalom. I'll be on later this evening, bringing a very different message. I'm not going to be doing dissecting Marcionism this evening. Got a whole different type of message. It's going to be very powerful. Shalom.